So let's take a look at something I've had for like 2 weeks longer than I had the Dragon Megatron because distribution is absolutely insane. That's right, it's another Legacy Evolution figure, Legacy Evo Scraphook. And I'm gonna be honest guys, I actually bought 2 of these, because I said I was going to because I want to army build the Junkions, but doing so made me feel so dirty I couldn't even bring myself to take the other one out of the box. It's like there were only 2 of these and distribution is unbearably terrible, so I just can't help but feel like I ripped this figure directly out of some other collector or some little kid's hands. Why am I like this? Anyways, this is a great figure, but a terrible weaponizer. Like, maybe when the other Junkions get released, that will change, but right now, this guy does basically nothing in terms of weaponizing other than just falling apart. Like, you can have a dude with a pile of another dude next to him, and that's about it. At best, you can kind of mess around with the alt mode, and if you have more than one, you can really mess around with that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The look of this figure is pretty great. Definitely a new unique Junkion with a never-before-seen design that fits right in with the rest of them. Based on the box, his beard is supposed to be painted, and it's not in the plastic, but I don't think I have the capacity to be mad about that, when this is quite possibly the single most painted figure Hasbro has ever made. This thing is slathered, caked, drenched, dripping in paint. You know me, I don't care about paint, but there is no denying that it costs a pretty penny to do, and there is no denying that they tried to give us as many pennies as possible with this guy. How much paint is there? Well, aside from almost 100% of the alt mode being covered in this stuff, let me break it down to you like this. Anything that's brown is paint. Anything that's red is paint. This stripe is paint. His orange chest is orange plastic painted a different shade of orange. I didn't even know why the fuck you do that. That's literally insane. It feels like some kind of weird money laundering scheme in plastic format. And I mean, look how much color breakup this figure just gets through the plastics alone. He's got orange, gray, mud. This figure is a delight to look at. And oh my god, the feet! Transmetal 2 Megatron had some of the biggest kicks ever, and so does this guy. Not only are they huge enough that they let you drop him into a standing position, but they also just look cool as hell. Like these are some heavy metal sneakers. Fitting that this guy seems to be a mashup of Motorhead and Kiss. You can also remove the shin guns to give him some more range in the ankles, and some more range in his hands. Get it? Fuck you, I'm clever. I've heard people complain that this guy doesn't have a thigh rotation, but he does have knee rotation, and I mean, I get it, it's a little weird, but it works just as good. And one thing that's great about this guy is that despite being a weaponizer, he doesn't constantly fall to bits like that worthless pile of trash Cog. Honestly, he holds together excellently, and all of his tolerances are tight. Except for the elbows, which love to pop off at every opportunity. And this is just such an amazing fuck you to us, because these aren't even part of the parts forming, it's just a shitty joint. Oh great, the chunk of the figure that's already the hardest one to transform also likes to pop off. How much fun you are! Speaking of fun, this guy also just hands down has the most siege ports ever. 2 in his feet, 2 in the sides of his shins, and if you remove the guns, 2 more in the fronts of his shins, 2 in the wrists, with one of them being taken up by his crane boom, which has 2 ports in it, so a total of 3 in the wrists, 4 in his shoulders, with 2 of those being taken up by his exhaust pipes, which have another 4 ports in them, so a total of 6 in the shoulders and 2 in his back. All in all, that's 17 siege ports if you don't count the fists. Which, you shouldn't, that's cheating. The head is pretty good. Like I said, it's missing its beard coloring, but that's understandable. And I already mentioned that this guy looks like Lemmy. However, I gotta ask, how is this dude missing an eye? The whole point of the Junkions is that they're basically indestructible, because anything that falls off they can just slap back on or replace. Wish I could do the same with my back. I totally get what they're going for with this, but it feels weirdly distinct, and out of step with the rest of the Junkions. Like, if I'm supposed to army build with this guy, why give him a head that only one unique dude would have? Also, him mouths suck. Look at it. It looks like you feed him punch cards to clock in to go on a day of raiding in the post-apocalypse. The gun is good! So this thing looks really good for a deluxe, and it feels excellent. Hasbro really put a lot of effort into this guy. Honestly, this is probably where all the money that wasn't spent on Needlenose's backpack went. He's not even small, he's a good-sized deluxe, bigger than even Kingdom Warpath, so color me impressed so far, and I'm only going to become more so as this review continues on. For accessories, he's got his tire shield that also looks like a Rhinox-esque chain gun, though he doesn't exactly have a way to wield it like that convincingly. He's got this mostly useless crane boom that if it hinged down here, could have been used to form the chain gun, and he's got this I know what you did last summer hook. Oh yeah, and I know what you did last summer reference in 2023. You hoped that you could forget Freddie Prinze Jr. I will never let you forget Freddie Prinze Jr. Not because I want anyone to remember that he exists, but because I want to cause the pain of remembering that he exists. Anyways, I guess he can hold this, but if you want to make him look like Lockdown, it's actually too big to fit in the hole left by pulling his hand off of its mushroom peg. And I guess all of this stuff can kind of combine together. It really doesn't turn into much of anything, though. It's a crane with a hook and a tire on top. Then he's got his aforementioned shin guns. These also don't look like much of anything. Kind of like an early Star Trek phaser, but these are a huge missed opportunity, because they so easily could have been set up to peck into the tire to become that minigun I want so bad. Lastly, he's also got his exhaust pipes, which also don't really do anything. I appreciate that they have 4 ports on them for more attachment points, but they aren't all that useful. Anyways, let's talk about the weaponizing. There isn't any. Well, there isn't much. You can take off his shins and give people the tallest power shoes of all time. This is actually more practical than you'd think, because the feet are so big that they still manage to keep all of that relatively under control. Then you can take his arms off and attach them to someone else for more arms. I mean, it's not unuseful. And then you can take the torso and give someone a man's torso. This is literally as far as he comes apart. His legs pop off at the knee, and his arms separate at the shoulder. He doesn't do anything else. What am I supposed to do? Turn this into a backpack for a figure that didn't already have one? According to the instructions, you are supposed to combine him with Hotshot, where his arms become the power shoes. Really? That's fucking stupid. And not just because the power shoes are always fucking stupid, because seriously, why does taller shoes makes more powerful? But no, this is dumb because now this thing is reliant on these wibbly arms forming a tail for the figure to have heels at all. And then the legs form these giant uncool looking pauldron pieces that pretty much only work with Hotshot, and maybe a few select others. But it shows the torso become its box mode and then do nothing in the actual instructions. And then he's using the hook on a stick like a sword, but it just looks like a fishing pole. And I just have to ask, what about any of this makes him more powerful? Because as I see it, he's just running on awkwardly big shoes that have no reliable heels that he's going to trip on, and he's got a full-sized engine block mounted to his shoulders, ensuring that when he faceplants because of the shoes, he does so with the maximum amount of momentum possible. At least this guy can become the tallest power shoes ever for maximum establishment of dominance, and maximum splits to also establish dominance. Seriously though, this is so uncool that it actually comes full circle back around to being cool again, to then go back around again to becoming uncool. As for posability, it's clashy as hell, but there is a lot of good here. Head only swivels, but you can then transform him for some up. Thanks to the huge protrusions coming off the tops and the backpack, the shoulders are pretty restricted in all directions. You can untransform him for some forwards butterfly. Elbows can get a good bit more than a 90, but they're also restricted by kibble. Offset wrist swiv. Hips are equally unimpeded in all directions, like 89-degree knees, and if you remove the guns, amazing feet with tons of tilt up, tons of tilt down, tons of pivot in, and more than a little pivot out. So there's a good bit impressive about the way this guy poses. However, the upper body really feels like it's in its own way. Transformation is easily the best a weaponizer has ever had. And it isn't just that, but it's actually really good and fun. It's not just a rumor, this transforms without parts forming. Though you will be hard-pressed transforming this guy without popping off one of the arms by accident. I find that there are 2 tricks to this conversion. One, if you want to transform him into robot mode, the feet kind of lock up and don't want to move. Rather than hinging them up, you want to push them forward away from the truck. That should unlock them. And 2, in order to go into vehicle mode, you have to spin the fists so the thumbs are facing upwards towards the sky in the bed of the pickup. The arms won't fit if you don't. But yeah, this is an excellent little conversion. And wait. Holy shit, you mean that this was intended? This wasn't just the photographer fucking up. This was how this was meant to go. I have several questions. The exhaust pipes are meant to come out of the wheel rims. You're shitting me. Look at this. It rolls. It is expressly designed to do this. The hubcaps are stationary and the wheels rotate around them. This is a cursed kind of brilliance. It is genius being used for ultimate evil. You may say not to do this, but if you don't, you have to unpeg these to transform them, or you just have them face down for no reason. Anyways, in this mode, you can really see just how much they went to town with the paint, as now all the brown is on display, which means that basically 100% of this alt mode is paint. And they even used some black on the windshield found nowhere else on this figure. You can peg the spare wheel onto the top of the hook or the back of the truck, but it's just too bad that it didn't come with a pair of spare tires, because if it did, then by just buying 2 of these guys like I have, you could monster truck it up, which would really lean into this dude's badass aesthetic. I mean, he's even got the souped up engine. This is like the Ratrod of tow trucks meant for a Mad Max world. And just every inch of this thing is bathed in care. It is covered in little details that give it so much life. It's even got molded headlights that you can't even see because they are covered by the grille. This is getting the kind of love and attention reserved for my OC Please Do Not Steal. And you know that's what this is. But rather than it being cringe, it's glorious. And look, I had my concerns going into this figure, and none of them turned out to be founded. What we have is a cool robot mode with a lot of effort put in, it's got a good amount of posability, it's got a lot of accessories, transformation is excellent for what it is, and it's just fun in general. It's got a great alt mode with hopefully a lot of extra potential in the future that will come with combining this with its brethren. I mean, it already forms an awesome combiner leg right now on its own, and basically all you do is tilt down the grill. And it's got some of the most shit-tacular weaponizing I've ever seen. And I think you all know what my conclusions are going to be at this point. That's right! This is fucking weird! It's just weird! And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.